Hello, hello, hello. I'll try this one. It's really great to be here. I have to say, it's very interesting to be invited to Slovenia, where I'm from in Canada. There is the only thing we knew about Slovenia is there's a very successful Slovenian restaurant in Montreal. You should go if you ever go to Slovenia. And they have fantastic sausage. So we think of Slovenians as the great sausage makers of the world. But, hello? Okay. But I want to say today that I want to say that having been to many conferences and many events, that there's something very impressive about this conference. One is this is the first conference I've seen where you have laughter yoga people, you have professionals, doctors and nurses, and you have academics. It really is the first time that I've seen this happen at this level, and so you really are in the avant-garde. Well done. Very good. So what I'm going to talk about today is one thing that's really, really interesting about laughter is that you can apply the science that is very formal and very serious, and you can apply it in action, and it's surprising how well it works. So let me show you what I mean. Now let me show you one of the common theories. The first theory of laughter, and you may know this, is that laughter is innate. Now, I don't know if you know this. Who proved? If I ask you a question, who taught you to laugh? Nobody. Nobody taught you to laugh. We just start laughing. Now, who proved that? Does anyone know? Who proved it? It's actually an Austrian fellow, E.B. Eisenfeld. They're your neighbors. But nobody knows this. He's still alive, and he's never been recognized for this incredible achievement. He's the first person to prove that laughter is innate. And this is, of course, a very, very explosive idea. Most of the scientific world doesn't think this is important or recognize the significance of this, but it really has a lot of implications. And let me show you what I mean. Here's an example of a demonstration of the innateness of laughter. You may have seen it before. Laughter is, these babies, no one has taught these babies to laugh, they're just laughing. Two, they're laughing in a very similar way, in an identical way. Now, that is because they are genetically identical, but also this behavior is in all people. It's called the limbic lock. And I'm going to show you examples of limbic lock in just a second. So the theory is, and then we've talked about this, that laughter has strong health benefits. Now, there is a catch. Now, there's some interesting science now that's come out that laughing makes you stronger, friendlier, and nobody has mentioned this so far, sexier. Laughter actually makes you sexier, which is a complicated, the scientific explanation is very complicated, but I thought it was kind of intriguing. Okay, the problem with laughter is that the health benefits, as was mentioned, require substantial amounts. So you need 10 or 30 minutes of laughter, that's a lot, to really get health benefits. And that problem, amazingly, in this time, has been solved. Laughter yoga is one of the ways. Active laughter, rire in France, and the laughter party. The laughter party is a different way of doing laughter yoga in a more social setting, less of a workshop setting. So what's amazing is that people have solved the problem of how to laugh for 10 or 30 minutes at a time, and they've done it in the last 10 years. It's really a quick thing that's happened. So here's an interesting thing. The theory is that animals laugh. Now, this is explosive if it's true, because we eat a lot of animals. And I'm going to show you, maybe I can show you an example. If I asked you a question, do you think rats laugh?
Yes.
Do you think rats laugh? Looks like maybe not. So let me show you something. Let's take a look.
As we have listened to animals playing, we have heard what appeared to be the sounds of laughter. And we studied these for a couple of years without quite understanding.
Even though they cannot speak, generally speaking, can laugh. And it points to another, perhaps more important theory, is that some people think that laughter is not just laughing, but is in fact language. And the proof is that maybe laughter may be the root of all language. For many years, there was a search for the universal language. Is it Esperanto? Is it English? No, it's probably laughter, which is a whole other interesting field of science we're not going to get into today. There's a theory that when you laugh, this is a theory by Daniel Goleman, sociologist in the United States, there's something called the limbic lock. So the two brains of two people laughing unite as if they're on the same frequency. And they claim that if you did MRI scans of two people laughing, that they would be doing exactly the same thing if they're laughing together. Now, anybody who knows MRI scans knows it's very hard to do scans of people while they're laughing because they're moving. But if you could, you might see something like this. Now here's what's interesting about this. I was just in France at the École de Rire de France, and here we did an experiment. There was a chair, which forced people to be very close together. So we tried an experiment to see if we could reproduce the limbic lock. Here's our scientific experiment. What we did is we had people laugh together, hold hands, and now the idea is, if there really is a limbic lock, two people who might look very different would actually begin to look the same at the moment of the lock. So here they are starting to laugh. Here's the holding hands to get going. Now, you start to see an effect. At this point, you see why are their hands doing exactly the same thing? There's no real reason. We don't do that when we talk. Exactly the same. Exactly the same. Exactly the same. And then they're unlocked here. And then we have the limbic lock. So this is this interesting thing. This is something you could test. We could test it right now if we had time. But this is something that you can do anywhere. And it shows that two very different looking people will look exactly the same when they hit the same frequency of laughter. And it really is, there's a famous adage that laughter is the shortest distance between two people. Well, maybe it's true. Okay, so another theory of the science is that laughter can help with addiction. This is true. Now, the theory was that they found out, Stanford University study finds out that the brain produces dopamine with cocaine in the exact same way as laughing fits. So laughing fits are like cocaine. So you're thinking, could you replace cocaine with laughter? Well, I'm going to show you very quickly. That's exactly what we did. There was a study done at Sobriety, which is a rehab center in Canada. We took people who were addicts, who most of them are heroin and cocaine addicts, and we saw if we could addict them in a way to laughter. And we found, using laughter yoga, it was completely true, and that though we didn't have a formal way to prove that you could fix somebody or get them off drugs, we did find it had a very beneficial effect in rehab. And I'll show you the video very quickly. The funny thing about it
I
is,
balked at the idea.
they all thought it was a very stupid idea.
It was going to be really silly.
Well, it was something that I didn't really want to do.
I thought it was retarded.
The main reason why people take drugs is that you get these powerful surges of positive, pleasurable feelings.
Took over my life. Lost everything.
I was completely covered in sores.
They had to replace the valve. They had to replace the valve of my heart.
If we could substitute the pleasurable feelings that you are so dependent on with a natural way of doing essentially the same thing that doesn't have side effects and is actually good for you.
I don't want to end up like my mom in a coffin.
Why kick the people when they're already down enough? Why?
All those people in the video were all addicts. All addicts. And I believe that you can use laughter to help you recover. It sounds crazy, but you really, 3 hours a day, you have to be, it's hard work, but without any other drugs, without any other treatment, laughter can help people get off of drugs. It's really an interesting thing. Okay, so here's a new theory. Violence is contagious. One problem with our world is a lot of violence. The reason why there's a lot of violence is that it spreads very naturally. We are an aggressive species. There's a lot of proof and scientific evidence that shows that we actually like aggression. This is the Ultimate Fighting Championship. It is extremely popular among young people. I'm sure it's popular among young people here in Slovenia, all over the world, and partly because it is contagious. People enjoy it. So what if the theory is that violence is contagious, maybe peace is contagious as well? Well, that's the whole idea of what we're doing right now with the laughing championships. A lot of people think, ooh, laughing championships, should laughter be competitive? And I always say to people, should laughter be competitive? Do you know your history? Where does laughter come from? Well, actually, the basis of laughter is competitive behavior. It comes from the rough and tumble play of animals. Does anyone know, I'm sorry to use terms like that, but rough and tumble is when two dogs jump on each other, and what happens when two dogs jump on each other? They pant. They make a panting sound that is like, anyone know the sound? It's like this. So as that develops, that says I'm playing, I'm not fighting, and as that develops, becomes ha ha ha. And that is probably the evolution origins of laughter. It comes from a certain kind of competitive play. That is its roots. And so let me show you an example. So I'm going to show you with a demonstration. I need 2 volunteers to demonstrate this in principle. It's very easy. I heard that they said people in Slovenia are shy. Okay, well then I'm going to tell you the story of Salvador Dali, because you asked for it. Salvador Dali was extremely shy, very, very shy. And he couldn't even succeed as an artist. He had one teacher who told him, just pretend that you're not shy. Just pretend that you're... And when Salvador Dali started, he just kept going. And he became Salvador Dali. So that is the moral of the story, is that, and you know, there is science that shows that being shy is actually not good for you. So, for your health, you need 2 volunteers. Anybody? I want to show you something very interesting about human nature. When 2 human beings look at each other, I noticed this when I was walking around Maribor, that you don't look at people. But when 2 people look at each other, or stare at each other, we get often nervous and stressed, right? So I'm just going to ask you a question. Let's see how long you can look at each other. No smiling. Okay, no smiling. Okay. Now I'm going to ask you to take little steps towards each other. Little steps. No smiling. Very good, actually. That's very good. Keep going. One more step. Very good. So now, they're actually some of the best I've ever seen. But now, the reason I mention this is that in the fighting championships, in boxing, there is a problem. In that when 2 boxers do that, they often start to laugh, even though they're supposed to be there to kill each other. Now, why does that matter? Because it shows that human beings are wired to override hostile feelings with smiling and laughing. So let me show you how, let's say, the laugh-off works. So we start with staring. So this is the duel, the laughter duel. So hostile, then we ask you just to raise your finger like this, if you don't mind putting your fingers together. Yeah, you can put your hand up. Now you can touch fingers, if you don't mind. That's right, good. Now, we can just have you laugh together a little bit, and we're going to perform the limbic lock. If you don't mind, you can laugh. Very good. Now, for the duel, the way the duel works is you should point at the other person. When I say go, you point at the other person. The person that makes it seem like the other person is funnier, more to laugh at, wins. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? You're going to laugh. You're going to go ha 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 at her. You're going to go ha 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 at her. The person who laughs the most wins. Okay, ready, set, go. Very good. That was perfect. Well done. Thank you. Okay, wait, hold on. Okay. You can usually tell if I ask the audience who laughed more at the other person. So I'm going to ask you to see who wins, just to see. So was it this person? Who? Okay. Applause. This person? Very good. Or was it this person? Narrowly, I'm going to say it's her, but thank you very much. Now, who wants to challenge her? I should mention for tonight, this is one of the things we're doing for tonight. Hold on, we're going to have a challenge. There is an Austrian laughing champion here. And if, for the sake of Slovenia, you may want to produce a champion. Otherwise, you don't want an Austrian to win the Slovenian Laughing Championship. That would be very problematic. So, actually, can I bring you up? Okay, this is Thomas Topalnak, is that right? From Austria. So, do you want to try a duel with him? Okay, you tried. Oh, very good. Very good. Is that okay?
Sure.
Okay, so here's
my support team.
Right. Okay, so here we're going to try a duel. Anything goes. You can go as loud or as long as you want, or you can fall down. Anything you want. So this is Austria versus Slovenia. 1, 2, 3, go. Okay, time. Very good. Very good. Now, I'm not going to declare a winner because that will be tonight. But that was very close. That was very good. So I think that, anyways, thank you very much. But I should say, these people are not just demonstrating that they're funny and beautiful, but you are funny and beautiful, but they're demonstrating one of the great reasons why human beings are such peaceful animals. In fact, they're demonstrating the fact that we can override our hostile and aggressive behaviors with smiling and laughter. You just did that. Thank you very much. Thank you. It is interesting to know, human beings, we often get a bad rap. I think I'm out of time, but human beings, we often get a bad rap because we start wars, we're polluting the earth, we're always fighting. But one thing that's interesting about human beings is you're doing something that no other primate, I think, no other higher primate can do. You're doing it right now, which is there's no way you can get 100 gorillas or chimpanzees or orangutans into one room without somebody being hurt. The fact that you can do that is actually incredible. It's one of the great miracles of life on this planet, and you're doing it right now. So congratulations. Okay. Other positive emotions. It's not just laughter. And I'm going to show you an example. There's now positive psychologists have identified 3 new positive emotions. They're emotions that you have, but you may not have had a name for them. Frisson, which is the chills, when you get the chills. 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 Elevation is when you see something beautiful and you cry. That's elevation. Interest, that's when you're very curious. Curious about something? Radovide. I'd like to know. How do you say frisson in Slovenian? Zmaraziti. Kuria po. Okay. Here, interest, that's interest. Elevation. Elevation. Frisson. Now, frisson is very interesting. It's a tingling in the back of the neck. And it's often provoked by beautiful music and the sense that we are connected to something bigger, to each other, or something bigger. Now, what's interesting about it is that the studies show, the scientists believe that only 50% of the population experiences frisson. Now, that's interesting because I have found that when people laugh, laughter is one of the doorways to all the positive emotions. 7 positive emotions require laughter, and it may be that if you don't laugh, you have no access to certain positive emotions. So that's an important thing. It's a doorway. So let me show you an example. This is the last thing. I'm going to show you a video, and afterwards, frisson, this is a video that should produce the chills. Frisson. How do we say frisson again? Kuria. It should produce the chills. Now, science says only half of us, 50%, will get the chills. So I'm going to do a poll afterwards to see if it's true. So music is one of the things that causes this, and we'll take a look very quickly at how it works.
But for the next contestant, the world of showbiz seems a million miles away.
It's Paul, a mobile phone salesman from South Wales.
By day, I sell mobile phones. My dream is to spend my life doing what I feel that I was born to do.
Paul, what are you here for today, Paul?
To sing opera. I've always wanted to sing as a career. Confidence has always been sort of like a difficult thing for me. I've always found it a little bit difficult to be completely confident in myself.
Okay, ready when you are.
Who felt it? So we're almost like, I would say 90%. Very good. That's wonderful to see. Now, last thing. One interesting thing about laughter, as somebody who studies and makes films about laughter, is I've noticed something very curious when you look at people who are laughing. There's something going on in the eyes. There's a sparkle in the eye. You look at it really closer. It's a light. Now, what's interesting about this is that sometimes it's produced by a flash. But these videos, this is video. No flash, no lights. Again, I'll show you again. No flash, no lights. There is a sparkle in the eyes of people who are laughing. There is no scientific explanation for this. But it's a very interesting. So I want to throw out one interesting explanation very quickly. This is my last point, which is 10 years ago, scientists started exploring the deep oceans, very deep in the ocean. And this is only a very recent phenomenon. They made an interesting discovery. There's much more life in the deep oceans than they thought. In fact, there are enormous amounts of fish and animals that live very, very deep. And because they live in the dark, they have to use phosphorescence, so they communicate via light. And I read the statistic that really impressed me. One scientist said, if you add up all the animals that live at the bottom of the ocean, in the ocean, there is more life, the majority of life in the world is in the oceans, and it may be that the majority of life on this planet communicates via light. Light is the way that most animals communicate on this planet. So, this is, we come from the oceans, and this may be, it may be that we also communicate via light, which is a very inspiring and mysterious idea. Anyways, as you can see, the moral of my story is that the science and the laughter get along very well. And the more science there is, the more laughter there is, and vice versa. So anyways, it's really wonderful. It's an honor to be here in Slovenia. Thank you very much.